with a wide receiving duo in the nation. I wonder if you guys can say definitively yes or no. Best receiving duo in the nation? What do we think?
We're going to say yes, not to be cocky, but to be confident in ourselves.
Okay, how about you?
I'll say the same. Just being able to, go on the field and put up the numbers that we have. I mean, a lot of duos don't have the numbers that we have. So just being able to say that we're the best duo in the country is a success for us.
Okay, so I know a lot of people are excited about Joe Burrow and his numbers and his accuracy numbers, and they should be. But you guys make some great catches for him. How are you there for your quarterback? You are really there for him.
We always got to be there for Joe. Just putting the ball wherever he needs to put it, and we're going up and catch it. So that's just shouting out Coach Joe Brady just for working on our hands and being able to go up and catch balls like that.
Okay, speaking of the hands, I just saw some kind of shake. What was the super secret shake? Show it to me.
You want to see?
I want to see it. What is this?
That's our sauce right here.
Oh, it is a little, is it Cajun sauce?
I was on game. I ain't mess up.
I like the secret sauce. Okay, you guys are also known for your touchdown dances, celebrations. Now, you're not going to do that and get a penalty, right?
We gonna see. we gonna see when we get to the game. But we definitely got something if they let us showboat a little bit.
Can you show me just like a baby preview? Like, give me a little. I'm a good dancer. I feel like I could be in on it a little bit.
You want to hop in this with us?
Get it. Go. Let's go. Go. What is it? Yeah.
I'm serious.
I'm serious.
All right, you ready?
I'm ready.
Just go like this.
Yep.
And then start to jump.
I feel like we could do more flavor up on the top, though. That's it? That's all?
You guys like you jumping rope. Just came up with that one.
Oh.
Or you can do the twist. You can do the twist one.
Okay.
Yeah, we got like 3 of them.
Yeah, we have a lot.
You had another little robot-looking one, or like Fortnite-looking one. Nothing.
Which one?
You did it at Ole Miss, and you didn't get in trouble for it.
Talking about this one?
Yes.
Hey, Bob.
Fact.
Bop. Bop. Oh.
Hey.
See, I knew you guys were showing me the boring ones. I knew there was more flavor. All right. Bob and Weave. All right. This is the best wide receiving duo in the country. Jamar Chase, Justin Jefferson. Thanks for showing me some stuff.
Thank you.
The weekend's full of surprises, from big upsets to rivalries. On the Finebaum show, Paul's on a roll. If he don't get the best of me, we'll call Paul. He'll make sense of it all. Yeah, we'll call Paul.
And welcome back to Atlanta, Georgia. You're looking inside the Mercedes-Benz Stadium where 4 o'clock tomorrow, LSU and Oklahoma meet in the college football playoff semifinal at the Chick-fil-A Bowl. Welcome back, everybody. Tony Barnhart sitting in for Paul Finebaum. We are joined by the wonderful Laura Rutledge. Your people are here, Laura.
I love my
Your people are here.
I'm honored to claim them as my people. It's so good to see you guys, and it's wonderful to see you.
I thought Spears was popular. Oh,
well,
man.
He's a big deal. He was sweating out here, actually. He went back in the green. I just saw him in the green room, and he was like, man, it's hot out there. I figured it was your fault.
This is warm for us this time of year. All
exactly.
right, before we talk about football, we got to talk about something important. First Christmas for baby Reese Catherine. What was it like?
It was a lot of fun, and thank you for asking about her. She's getting to the point at almost 3 months old where she's really kind of noticing more things, and she's a little more alert, so it's just a really fun time. But we did have an adventure getting here, but we started in New York in the morning of Christmas because I worked there that morning, and then we got on the plane, and we felt good about everything. We had, the great Christmas onesie on. She looked adorable that my mother-in-law, Cheryl, had gotten her. And then we were going along, and all of a sudden I'm like, oh, I think she just had a really big diaper blowout. But that's okay. No big deal. You try to stay calm, deep breaths. And sure enough, it was so big that it was all over her, all over me. The Christmas outfit was done, and so I took her into the very small airplane lavatory, something that a lot of parents have done, got the diaper figured out, got everything into the trash bag. I think I handed the flight attendant like a 10-pound bag of just waste and said, here you go. And that was about the time that I realized I didn't have a backup outfit for her. So now here I am on Christmas Day with a naked baby somewhere in the air between New York and Atlanta. And the moral of the story is the people across the way from us on the plane actually turned to us, realized what was going on, and very just nonchalantly handed us a backup onesie. They had a little baby with them as well. And it was the Christmas spirit in full force. I don't know what we would have done had we not had that backup onesie. So I was so appreciative to them for their kindness in that crazy moment.
Welcome to parenthood.
Exactly, right?
Welcome to parenthood.
Goodness.
All right, let's start here. You've been with Oklahoma and LSU all week. Give us the big picture of Oklahoma, because everybody's saying you can't come here and win.
Yeah.
What do they think?
Well, look, I mean, they've kind of relished in the fact of being the forgotten team here in this college football playoff, and they'll tell you that they're not using that as motivation, but Tony, I think a lot of it actually is motivation for them in some ways. Either way, this is a business trip for them, and they've had experience in the playoffs, certainly, over the past few years, and so Lincoln Riley, we were just talking to him, just saying how much that helps to at least know what this schedule is going to be like, to know kind of how to prepare and how to allocate your time. I think that's a big theme for them. And then the other thing that's really struck me is just how well Jalen Hurts has done to win over that team. And, you know, fans in the SEC are familiar with him and what he's done as a leader, you know, even at his time at Alabama, how he handled himself, how he handled a situation that might have been tough for some other young men. He's gone into this Oklahoma team. It really is remarkable. He gets there, he wins over the locker room, he learns an offense that is complicated. And look, Kyler Murray and Baker Mayfield had way more time in those Lincoln Riley offenses than Jalen did. And Lincoln Riley, to his credit, has then adjusted his offense to fit Jalen's skill set, which has been a lot of fun to see.
Well, I think we all wondered, Laura. I said, look, Lincoln Riley can't ask Jalen Hurts to do what those other guys did, but he can adapt to what is a wonderful skill set. He just has to adapt to it, and Lincoln Riley has clearly done that.
Yeah, and it's interesting because I think Coach Riley would like to have Jalen for a couple more years just to continue to develop that passing ability. He's improved so much already, and anybody will say that. Even when we were talking to Grant Delpit earlier, who obviously faced Jalen when he was at Alabama, when Grant, of course, was at LSU, and just saying how much he's seen him improve by watching film and seeing those massive improvements, comfortability in the pocket, just the ability to process the field a little bit more, patience in the pocket, all these things that we're seeing from Jalen now that have been a result from going and working with Lincoln Riley, who is so great with quarterbacks. In real world terms, they lose their best pass rusher. They suspend him. Yeah. Their second leading tackler at safety, he's out with a collarbone. Just from a pragmatic standpoint, how much does that impact Oklahoma? Yeah, well, look, I mean, it's not ideal for them, and they are fully admitting that. But talking to defensive coordinator Alex Grinch, the one thing about the DN position that Ronnie Perkins, who is suspended and won't play, that he plays, is that's probably the position that they could afford to lose someone the most. Even though Perkins is very successful, very productive, they rotate so many guys in and out of that particular spot that they feel confident there. And then Delaren Turner-Yell, their safety, who will not play in this game due to the injury that he suffered, that's a bigger loss for them. Basically, it just means they're thinner at that position. You know, they can't afford to have any other injuries in their secondary. That'll be something to watch big time, I think, in this game. Let's flip the page and talk about LSU for a minute. You saw this team, you covered this team a year ago when Joe Burrow got there and they were still trying to figure it out. Right. And look at them now. And the question is, have you seen a transformation that was more 180 than this football team from a year ago to this football team right now? I mean, I can't think of one in recent memory. It's been remarkable to see what they've been able to do. And it was interesting because when we were just talking to Coach O, you know, he says that he doesn't care about the Coach of the Year award. And I believe him. I don't think he really does. Obviously, much rather win a national championship, get an opportunity to do that. But he said, no one's talking about me. My name isn't even in that mix. If I don't have Joe Brady come in, if I don't have Joe Burrow still here. So I think what what you're seeing is just the perfect confluence of events for LSU. Yes, it was a turnaround that so many people could be given credit for, but you get Joe Brady in, you still have Joe Burrow there. You also have Steve Ensminger, who's willing to listen and learn from Joe Brady, and also in turn tutor Joe Brady with some things that he already knows. On the offensive side, it's incredible. Maybe not enough attention even given to Dave Aranda in the defensive side.
Right.
You've got to keep that guy in Baton Rouge because he's somebody who could have had opportunities as a head coach. Just the way that things have played out for LSU has been really impressive. And even watching them practice yesterday, I was just, it's remarkable. It takes so much to win a championship or have a chance at winning a championship. This is a team that when you watch them even practice, they've got that about them. And it's fun to see how it's all come around and really this 180-degree turn that, like I said, I think we'll be talking about it for years.
Well, somebody asked me, I said, explain to me Joe Burrow. I said, Joe Burrow is the coolest cat in school.
He's so cool.
Joe Burrow is the guy who was the star of the football team. Apparently he was a great basketball player from what we were seeing the other day.
That was nuts.
But I had a chance to sit down with him at SEC Media Days, and I said, Joe, you guys have told us, LSU's been telling us for 10 years they're going to change the offense.
Right.
You never do. He said, no, not only is it going to work, we're going to average 40 points a game. Well, guess what? They're averaging 48.
Right.
I mean, I was skeptical, but I'm not skeptical anymore.
You know, you bring up such a great point about him just being a cool customer all the time. I think what that does, and you know this, I mean, I would even liken this to being like a host on TV. It's obviously a different deal. But if you're calm in your role as quarterback on a set or quarterback on a field, everybody around you is calm. And that's kind of what Joe Burrow has done for this offense and done for the entire team. It affects the defense, too. They see that he's never rattled. Doesn't matter what happens. Doesn't matter if things aren't going their way. And look, things have gone their way most of the time. But he remains calm no matter what. And I think that's infiltrated the minds and the hearts of the rest of the team.
You know, somebody brought up a point. One of the top storylines has been the health of Clyde Edwards-Helaire. And somebody said they weren't as concerned about the running part of it as they were about Clyde Edwards, his ability to pick up the blitzes and give Joe Burrow that extra beat, that extra time to do it. That does seem to be a factor.
I think it is. And it's just interesting because there are still some, scenarios where LSU's kind of acting like maybe he'll try to play. He has not practiced at all this week, so we'll find out if he practices today. I think that'll be interesting. But either way, I mean, I think you even look at it. If he's out there, he's not going to be 100% or probably anywhere close. So it's just an intriguing scenario to watch the entire game. I think it's not only that he can pick up blitzes, although I will say that Joe Burrow has been so good at that on his own. I'm not as concerned about that for him. I think it's more what Clyde Edwards-Helaire brings in the pass game. I mean, he's their third leading receiver, and you look at their trio of wide receivers, and that even makes it more remarkable because they have so many great ones. What I would look for is, can they put a Jamar Chase in that opportunity?
Right.
Can they kind of do some creative things where really when they're using kind of a committee for that running back position, they're making them just run the football, and then they use their receivers more the way that they've used Edwards-Helaire. The game plan changes. I mean, it really does, and it changes how Oklahoma would defend them. But another thing that's interesting about what LSU's offense has seen, no matter who's been on the field, is that ever since Florida, if you look back at kind of their games throughout this season, they've seen a defense on the opposing side that's played completely different scheme than they've played all year long.
Exactly.
Everybody changes their scheme for LSU, and so you would expect maybe, just based on that Oklahoma could do that no matter if Edwards-Helaire is in there or not.
It's going to be fascinating. Laura Rutledge, it is always fun to spend some time with you. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you. It's so much fun to spend some time with you.
All right.
And by the way, all these fans are here for you, so don't be lying about anybody else, okay? They're all here for you.
All right, Laura Rutledge, ladies and gentlemen, go hug the baby when you get a chance,
will.
okay? Very
Big
good.
hug.
All right, we got to take and welcome back to Atlanta, Georgia, where on Saturday, tomorrow at 4 o'clock, LSU versus Oklahoma in the college football playoff semifinals at the Chick-fil-A Bowl. Should be fun. Pleased to be joined by Coach Gene Chizik of the SEC Network. Coach, it's always fun to talk ball with you. Thanks for joining us.
I appreciate it, Tony, man. Always ready to talk some ball, man. Let's go.
Well, somebody explained to me, and I've heard you talk about this before, is that the Oklahoma offense is fun to watch because it's math. It's not science, it's math. It's about matchup. Tell us a little bit about that, because watching Lincoln Riley play this game is fascinating.
Yeah, it's fun, Tony. I made the comment this morning that I could just sit down and watch the offense, watch their film for fun. Because I'm going to tell you, it's a puzzle, and you got to figure this puzzle out. What I like about it the most is that they have put so much into scheming and being able to turn it into a math game, as you mentioned, that there's just not a lot of people out there who have figured it out. And I don't care if you watch 12 or 13 games on these guys. It seems like Lincoln always has a game plan, either by formation or different ways to get to the quarterback run game that you don't have enough people. And if you look at Jalen Hurts and you look at what he's done rushing right now, quarterbacks don't just rush for 1,255 yards. That have to be great design plays. The offensive line has to do a great job of blocking and picking up things because people try to throw everything at it. It's a fascinating offense to watch.
Well, you know, when Jalen Hurts transferred to Oklahoma, I think a lot of us wondered, okay, Lincoln Riley, we've seen what he's done with other great quarterbacks. How does he work within Jalen Hurts' skill set to maximize what he can do? What has he done with Jalen's skill set?
I love what he's done, Tony, because, you know, people look at this offense because they look at what Kyler Murray did. They look at what Baker Mayfield, and they think you're going to throw it all over the lot. I will promise you this. This offense is about running the football. That's what it's about. Now, that doesn't mean they can't throw it, but it's about finding a way to run the football. That's not just with a quarterback. You got Kennedy Brooks, who's almost got 1,000 yards rushing on top of that. So they run the football. But off of that, they set up a lot of their action pass down the field. This is what Jalen's really good at. Jalen's good at, you know, moving the pocket off of play action. He's good extending plays with his feet, ad-libbing, and getting the ball out. He does a phenomenal job of looking at receivers, anticipating where they're going to be, particularly when he breaks the pocket, and putting the ball in spots where they can catch the ball and make yards after the catch. So, to me, it's been a tailor-made offense for him, both running and throwing.
All right, you're Dave Aranda at LSU. Let's go back to the Georgia-LSU game in the SEC Championship. I was told before that game, when you play LSU, they're obviously very, very talented. But this person said, but there will be an opportunity or two or three to take some shots down the field. Do you think that'll be the case? And does Jalen Hurts need to make those shots when he gets them?
Yeah, I think there'll definitely be the case. I mean, you can look at the first series of the game in the SEC Championship game. They had some opportunities to take some shots down the field. Actually, on the first play of the game, they had a guy wide open. Georgia did that he could at least, you know, hit a big play, an explosive play early in the game. There will be those opportunities, okay? LSU's defense is much improved. There's no question. The last two outings that I've seen since the Ole Miss debacle, where they had 400 yards put up on the ground, they've been a completely different defense. They play with an edge. They're in the right spots. They tackle well in the open field. But some of the coverages that you play leave you vulnerable to certain routes. And they're going to play quarters coverage. They're going to play some one-high coverage. And if you can catch them in those, you can design some routes that are going to get a guy in the open field with an opportunity to hit him with an explosive play. And Jalen will have that opportunity. It's just going to be a matter of whether or not he's going to be able to hit it.
And if you're Dave Aranda, and you're looking at CD Lamb out there, is that a guy that you've got to have some help over the top? Can you ever single cover him? I mean, is Stingley good enough to do that? But can you ever let CD Lamb out there by himself?
Well, here's the conversation that really is the one that's circulating out there, right? Are we going to match our best guy up against CD Lamb? Well, let's not forget, LSU, yes, you've got Derek Stingley out there. You also have a first-rounder on the other side in Christian Fulton.
Right.
So I don't think you're going to see a guy travel with him necessarily. Oh, I think there's no question you have to find ways to put a guy over the top so you can beat him up on the line of scrimmage. There will be scenarios that you have to play him one-on-one. That's just the way football is. If I bring an eighth guy down, I'm not going to have anybody over the top, and you're going to have to play some of that type of structure on defense to stop the quarterback run. So the bottom line is, yes, he will get some one-on-one opportunities out there. CD Lamb is as good as there is in the business, Tony. He's 6'2". He's a 190-pound blur. You get the ball to him in open space early, he can turn a 5-yard catch into a 60-yard catch. The main thing is you got to tackle him, and you got to corral him before he can get going. Yes, you mix it in, put some guys over the top for some doubles, but you can't live in that all night. Stingley and Fulton are built for this moment. This is what they're there for, right? This is why they recruited to LSU, and they're going to have to go out there and they're going to have to earn their scholarship.
Coach, you've been a head coach in this league, won a national championship. You know this league as well as anybody. I've been trying to put in perspective what LSU has accomplished in the course of one calendar year, from changing the offense to bringing in Joe Burrow the year before, to Ed Orgeron walking in the office to talk to Steve Ensminger and say, let me tell you what I'm thinking. Can you put it in perspective what they've done in really a calendar year?
I think Ed O deserves so much credit for the way this whole program has been run since the day he took it over, okay? There's a lot of questions, Tony, coming from a lot of people. And he's done everything right. He's made the right hires. If he didn't make a right hire, he changed it and got it fixed.
Yep, did that.
He's brought in the right guys. He's recruited the right character. He's recruited and evaluated and developed some great players. And then he went out in the transfer portal and he got a Heisman Trophy winner. Let's not forget about this guy. Last year, no one's going to talk about the kicker that they went out and got.
Cole Tracy. Yeah, absolutely.
I'm just throwing out other names that they've gone in. Fehoko, the defensive lineman they got from Texas Tech. There's guys that he brought in that they evaluated and said, these guys plug and play. They fit exactly what I want. Did he know that Joe Burrow was going to be the alpha dog? Did he know he was going to be the Heisman guy? No, he didn't. And if he says he did, that's a lie, right? But what he did know was this guy fit. He loved him. He was a coach's son. He was a tough guy. He was a football guy. That's the kind of guy I want in my program. And then he put the pieces around him with young players and the coaches around him. No one's going to give Steve Ensminger enough credit.
Oh,
this dude deserves he deserves a ton of credit. Joe Brady came in to supplement what they've done. And then it turned into be what you see today. So it all starts with the top. That's the bottom line.
And the thing is, Coach, is that most coaches, Ed Orgeron in LSU won 10 football games a year ago. Most coaches who win 10 football games, you know what? We'll just tweak it here and there, but we're fine. We're good. And that's not what he did. He looked at that box score, that 29-0 box score when they played Alabama and said, we got to do something fairly radical.
I love the fact that he's gone outside the box. He's done something. How many times, Tony, have we said, God, LSU's got great tailbacks. Man, they got great wideouts. Man, they got great DBs. Man, look at those linebackers and Devin White. But we haven't been able to say that about quarterback. Not they've had bad ones. They haven't had great ones. And we have said this.
Yeah.
As soon as LSU gets the difference maker, alpha dog, real dude to run the locker room, some people are going to be in trouble. Well, not only did he get that, he went outside the box and said, you know what, we got to tweak this offense a little bit. And Steve Ensminger had enough belief in himself where he wasn't threatened. He didn't feel, because those things can go the other way on you too. And he said, let's bring in this young dude. Let's bring him in. Let's mesh all the worlds together and let's make this thing work. And they're one game away from the national championship.
That's great. I could sit down and talk to Coach Chiswick about ball all day, but they tell we got to take a break, so we got to go. Coach, thanks for being with us. Happy New Year.
Always great to be here,
all
Tony.
Right. My hometown, where on Saturday we will have LSU in Oklahoma from Mercedes-Benz Stadium. CFP semifinals at the Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl. All right, we have everybody back now, and I am pleased. We're here at the College Football Hall of Fame with all these folks here. It has been a fun day. I'm pleased to be joined by my friend Dennis Adamovich, the CEO of the College Football Hall of Fame.
Good to see you, Tony.
Dennis, how are you, my man?
Doing well. Busy week.
It has been a fun day at the College Football Hall of Fame. I was here yesterday, and the crowds were good, but I came in today, and the folks showed up today.
Yeah, they did. We had them lined up all the way down the street before we opened up, an hour before we opened up. They're passionate fans, and they love college football, and there's no better place than here.
And at the end of the day, everybody remembers the old College Football Hall of Fame, but I remember when it was built 2014, which is hard to believe, that it's been there that long. Atlanta, Georgia is the place.
It is.
It is the place.
It was said coming here at 2012. We opened 2014. We're only 5 years old, so we're pretty new to the city. And there's always something fresh and new in this amazing space.
Well, you talk about fresh and new. That's one of the challenges. I understand you have 2 new exhibits that have just not too long ago have been put in. Tell us about those.
Yeah, so last week we opened up a new Kia Performance Challenge. And we're all about technology here and bringing fans to football and technology. And the Kia Challenge actually puts you as an avatar and does a combine challenge. So it's incredible how it brings you to the fans and actually makes it how high you jump, how fast you run.
Wow.
So that's a really, really amazing experience. And we just opened up the new Goodyear blimp simulator. So you actually get in a Goodyear blimp. We inducted honorary inductee into the College Football Hall of Fame. You get in, and you actually can see an aerial view of your school.
Wow,
and,
look at that right there.
And it's incredible.
And so it feels like you're in the actual blimp.
It does. You hear it, you feel it, you see your school from an aerial view. You know when the blimp's there, it's a big game. So it's we're all about big games and big times.
That is awesome. I understand you've got some things specially planned for Black History Month, which will be coming up.
We do. Every year we really try to celebrate the stories. We're all, the College Football Hall of Fame is all about storytelling.
Storytelling, yep.
We are storytelling. And in February, we've put panels together, and we have a great one coming up on the 21st. It's past, present, and future around HBCU. It really kind of tells a story from top to bottom and have panelists that will help bring that story forward. And there's several more that are going to be announced throughout the month.
Well, that's one of the neat things about the College Football Hall of Fame. If you at any level of college football, when we look at this wall, this 3-story wall behind us, 700 plus.
750 helmets. The only place in America you're going to see that, Tony.
Well, and it is every college and university that plays football in the United States of America.
It's all schools, all divisions, and
that's one of the,
just trying to keep up with that alone.
I can imagine. I can imagine. Now, sitting in your chair with your staff, one of the things you understand you've got to do. This is a wonderful exhibit, but you've got to be. We're celebrating the 150th anniversary of college football, and it's been a wonderful celebration. It really has been. Kevin Weiberg and his group have done an incredible job with this. But one of the things sitting in your chair, you've got to be the guy, and your staff has to be the people that go, okay, what's next? So what is next?
Well, so we're storytellers, right? And we have over 1 million pieces of memorabilia that sit in our archives. And only 10% of it sits on this floor right now.
Right.
So we're always about telling stories and bringing new stories forward and bringing new things. And we're also looking at how do you take what you experience here, which is we've won awards for how interactive and immersive we are. How do we take that out beyond the 4 walls of the Hall of Fame here? So we're looking at new and innovative ways to take the stories outside of the 4 walls that are here.
Right. One of the things that so impresses people about this Hall of Fame, it is so interactive. The old Hall of Fame in South Bend, it was a museum. They did a great job, don't get me wrong, but this makes college football a more living, breathing thing. And when you go up to the second floor and you see this big touch screen, the children are just drawn to that.
Yeah. So this pass that everybody gets when they come in, it highly customizes the experience for you. So you and I, well, we may have the same experience, but most people don't have the same experience because that is customized for them and their school. And there's a chip in here, and as you walk up to everything, it actually brings you to the attraction like no other place in America.
So if you're a University of Georgia fan and you walk in here and you punch in the code over here by the kiosk, then as you walk up to each thing, they will feed
Georgia
university
will be
content
first and
towards
foremost
you.
Yeah, that is absolutely correct.
That is fascinating.
And here's one of the cool things. Today we had the enshrinement ceremony for the incoming Hall of Fame class. And we had them all here. We celebrated with the fans. We went up to the Hall of Fame. Most Hall of Fames are a one-way experience where you're looking at a bust and you're looking at the year they were inducted. Here, you look at yourself, all your statistics, everything about the player, and watching them watch themselves, it's priceless.
Yeah, I have been at the very, very top where you walk in, and it is so interactive. If you wanted to something about Bo Jackson, you would pick Bo Jackson, and it feeds
everything
it to
on
you.
Bo comes up. That's right.
Automatically. That is just fascinating. What is, for people who have not been to the College Football Hall of Fame, what do you tell them about, because one of the things you and I discussed was that you want this experience to be one, not just one time.
That's right.
You want them to come back multiple times.
There's always going to be something new when you come back here. There's always going to be a new story. There's always going to be a panel. There's going to be, this is football. This is the football mecca. This is the epicenter of college football. We need to make sure that when people come in here, there's always going to be something new, not only for them but for their team as well. And that is our ongoing creative challenge that we're up for.
Now, tell me, obviously, the College Football Hall of Fame is completely integrated with the playoff and the Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl and all that. Tell us what the role you want the Hall of Fame to play with these various events that come to Atlanta, Georgia.
So we want to be the venue where if you're going to do college football, something in college football, if you're not in the College Football Hall of Fame in this amazing environment, you're probably missing out. You're probably going to have to decorate somewhere. You don't have to. It just surrounds you. The air in here is legendary. All the stories are legendary. So we play a pivotal role in all these big sporting events. Peach Bowl, Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl, all the events are happening here as a result of that event coming to the city of Atlanta. It starts Celebration Bowl. We do the ESPN Award Show here. We do SEC Championship.
Exactly.
You know, you go on and on and on. And that's what makes our city so great. And the hall plays a pivotal role in all those events. And fans.
Really out here in the field, it is a recreational place for children and people to play and all that. But you have so many events in this area. It is a neat place for people to have big events.
We do about 240 events a year.
Wow.
So we're open to fans 9 to 5 every day. And in the evenings, we turn into an amazing event space. Tonight we have 3 events going on for Peach Bowl. And that is, I've got an incredible staff. So for us to do what we do in this city, I'm very proud of my staff. But, you know, you go on the field, you're kicking field goals, you're throwing long passes 9 to 5. And tonight we'll probably have a black tie affair in there. That's the beauty of what we do and the role we serve in college football.
Oh, so much fun. Dennis Adamovich, my friend, good to see you. Thanks for joining us.
It's always great to have you in the house.
All right, well, folks, if you haven't been to the College Football Hall of Fame, you got to get here, okay? You got to get here. All right, we're going to take a break. When we come back, all right, and welcome back to Atlanta, Georgia, here at the College Football Hall of Fame. See some of the uniforms there. And what has been a busy day at the College Football Hall of Fame. Just down the road here at Mercedes-Benz Stadium tomorrow, we will have the College Football Playoff semifinals.
Can't wait, baby.
Oh, it is going to be awesome. And that voice, ladies and gentlemen, my man Marty Smith. There's the guys. There he is. Hey, folks, we are going to do something fun with Marty. Marty and I are going to talk to the top of the hour about ball and maybe about racing and about all this kind of stuff. And then we're going to bring Marty back at the top of the hour, and we're going to take your phone calls at 855-242-7285. And Mr. Smith, you've been here. You came here on December 22nd?
I did, yes, sir. Got down here early and was here for LSU's arrival on the evening of the 22nd and was avidly watching Clyde Edwards-Helaire walk off that bus to see kind of how his giddy-up looked. And Coach O came off first, of course, and then a couple of other coaches, including Coach Robinson, whom he reveres, John Robinson, the legend.
Absolutely.
And then Joe Burrow walked off, and then Clyde walked off. And I didn't see any hitch at the time. But as the week has progressed, we've kind of heard the same narrative from Coach O. We expect him to play. We don't know if he's going to play. And if he does play, we don't know what that's going to look like because he hasn't practiced. And I know this about Clyde. Clyde's an underdog story. Clyde is a guy that was underappreciated until this year. And he's one of those guys that's tougher than woodpecker lips. And if he can even walk, I would imagine they'll have to tie him down in order not to be on that field. But, you know, at the same time, Tony, you kind of have to look at the long play here too, right?
We're talking 16 days between this game and the national championship game.
Right. And so at what point do you look at it and say, okay, what opportunity is there for further injury? And it's a hamstring injury, so probably some. Do we just shut him down and count on those other 3 guys and Joe Burrow to do their thing? We'll see what Joe Brady and Steve Ensminger and those guys decide, but he's a matchup nightmare Edwards-Helaire has been a matchup nightmare for defenses all year long because he's a really good blocker. He's an amazing runner, and he's one of the best pass catchers out of the backfield in America.
Well, and when LSU has the lead at Alabama and is trying to put the game away, who do they go to? They went to Clyde Edwards. They went to 22. And he either caught the ball or ran the ball and helped them run out the clock.
I have this great video on my phone right there. I happened to be that last touchdown of the game. I happened to be standing right there on that goal line when he ran right by me. He, boom! He hit those guys, bounced off, and went straight in to seal that win, the landmark win in Coach O's LSU tenure.
No doubt, one of the biggest wins they've had because of what it meant. All right, let's go to the other side. You followed Oklahoma as well. The vibe that everybody got here yesterday doing media days, I don't think they're all that happy to talk to us
Salty.
right now. Yeah.
I said it when I first saw Lincoln when they first got here. They got here on the 23rd, and I interviewed him shortly after he did his very first media address. And as I was interviewing him, I was like, man, he is salty, and I don't blame him. We've seen Jalen Hurts' approach all year long. Jalen doesn't ride the roller coaster. Right. Jalen is this all the time. Mm-hmm. And I couldn't be a bigger fan of Jalen Hurts because of the young man he is, the way that he's handled himself throughout this entire journey. First freshman quarterback to ever start for Nick Saban, all right? Leads him to a national championship game, loses his job in a movie script that Tua Tagovailoa wrote, got better as a quarterback, as a second stringer, leads Alabama when Tua couldn't go in the second half of the SEC title game last year to a conference championship, earns a degree, which to me is amazing. And then he transfers over to Oklahoma and follows 2 Heisman Trophy winners and has had a Heisman caliber season himself and done it all with such tremendous grace. But don't you dare think for a second that he is even remotely satisfied.
Nope.
Because he wants to go shock the world tomorrow afternoon.
Right. Yeah, because all these people saying, well, he doesn't throw it like those other guys. He didn't do this like the other guys. But he just finds ways to win football games. Yep.
He's a winner, and he always has been since he was in 8th grade. All he's known how to do was win. Coach's son, extremely tough, extremely mentally tough. And I knew when he got in this Lincoln Riley offense, which of course produced Baker Mayfield and Kyler Murray and just puts up video game numbers every single season, that Jalen was going to have a special year. But what he showed from the jump, I had his season opener against Houston. Right. And you could see right then that they were going to let him throw the football. He's an elite runner. I think LSU will treat him like a running back that throws tomorrow. I think that's what we're going to see in terms of schematic, their schematic approach defensively. But he can throw the ball, and he's developed as a passer tremendously.
Right. Listen, I understand that Oklahoma has the attitude, and they should be. I understand that.
I don't blame them.
There's some real-world holes in this football team right now. When you lose your best pass rusher in Perkins, when you lose one of the leading tacklers, the second leading tackler in your secondary, those are some real holes that exist.
There's no question because, it impacts your depth. And when you look at the situation with losing a safety, and to your point, second leading tackler, leader on that defensive unit, you're losing dynamic athletes. Best pass rusher, second leading tackler at safety. And LSU doesn't slow down, okay? They're going to run you to death. And so I think what you're looking at is it could be a depth issue. It's a shame for Oklahoma, certainly, because it is 2 dynamic players that would have had quite a say in this.
I asked Laura Rutledge this question. I'm going to ask it of you. We've covered this game. We've watched great stories come and go. We know about LSU. We know about their history. But is there any way to put into context what LSU has done in the space of 1 calendar year in terms of changing the culture of that football program?
I think there's so many variables involved in it. I've spent so much time in Baton Rouge this season, Tony. I need an apartment there now too. Tuscaloosa, Clemson, South Carolina, and now Baton Rouge. I need an apartment. So I've been around them so much, and what you have is a guy in Coach O, who many didn't feel like should have that job. Okay. He is Louisiana, but a lot of people didn't believe in it, okay? Joe Burrow, this Ohio kid, this Midwestern kid, comes over. He didn't win the job at Ohio State, loses it to Dwayne Haskins. He comes south. He was a game manager 1 year ago. And then Joe Brady travels I-10 to Baton Rouge from New Orleans. And the very first day Joe Burrow looked at that play installation, he said, where in the hell did this come from? Where'd this come from? That's when they knew it was going to be different.
All right, Marty, we're going to take a break. We come back. We're here to take your calls.